The Helix Corporation produces prefabricated flooring in a series of steps carried out in production departments. All of the material that is used in the first production department is added at the beginning of the process. That means it will be 100% complete with respect to direct materials. Data for May for the first production department is as follows. We're told our beginning work in process inventory is 5,000 units. We're also told that it's 100% complete with respect to materials and 40% complete with respect to conversion cost. When we're using the weighted average method, which we're using in this problem, the percentage of completion of beginning work in process is unimportant. So let's move on. We're told our work in process inventory at the end of the month, May 31st, is 10,000 units, and it's 100% complete with respect to direct materials. Recall they were added at the beginning of this process, and 30% complete with respect to conversion costs. Let's go ahead and look at the cost information they're giving us. We're told that the material cost in beginning work in process inventory is $1,500. The conversion cost in beginning work in process inventory is $4,000, and that the units that we started into production during the period is 180,000 units, and that we transfer 175,000 units to the next production department. We're also told finally that the material cost added during May were $54,000, and the conversion cost added during May were $352,000. Let's go ahead first and look at our total number of units and calculate our equivalent units of production. We can see that we had beginning work in process of 5,000 units and started 180 into production. This means we need to account for a total of 185,000 units. And if we look at our equivalent units calculations, we can see that our 175 transferred out plus our 10,000 ending work in process does indeed equal our 185,000 total units. With respect to our units that were transferred to the next department, they are fully complete, so they will have 100% complete with respect to both materials and conversion costs. So we have 175,000 equivalent units for both of these. For the units that are in ending work in process inventory, we're told that they're 100% complete with respect to direct materials, which means there are 10,000 equivalent units. But they're only 30% complete with respect to conversion costs. 30% times our 10,000 units in ending work in process inventory tells us we have an equivalent of 3,000 equivalent units. This means our total equivalent units for the month for direct materials was 185,000. This is the 175 plus 10. And the total equivalent units with respect to conversion cost is 178,000. This is the 175 plus 3,000. Our next step is to take our total cost and divide it by the number of equivalent units. Our total direct material cost is 55,500. This is the beginning cost plus the cost added of 54,000. Our total conversion cost is 356,000. We now need to take each of these cost figures and divide them by the respective equivalent units. The equivalent units of production for direct materials we calculated above was 185,000 units. So 55,500 divided by 185,000 equivalent units gives us a cost per equivalent unit for direct materials of 30 cents. We take our conversion cost of $356,000 and divide it by the 178,000 equivalent units for conversion to get a cost per equivalent unit of $2 per equivalent unit for conversion costs. This means our total cost per unit will be the 30 cents for direct materials plus the $2 for conversion cost for a total of $2.30. After calculating our cost per equivalent unit, we need to calculate or assign cost to the units that were transferred out to the next department and assign cost to the units that were left in ending work in process. This is what we do in our cost reconciliation report. We had 175,000 fully completed units transferred to the next department, and we just calculated the cost per equivalent unit for direct materials, for conversion cost, and in total. So to calculate the cost of the units transferred out, We'll multiply our 175,000 units times our 30 cents per unit for direct materials to get a direct material cost of 52,500. We'll do the same thing for our conversion cost. We'll multiply our 175,000 units transferred out times our $2 per unit for conversion cost to get a total cost of 350,000 for conversion costs, which means the total cost of the units that we transferred out was $402,500. This is the 52,500 plus the 350,000, or we could have taken our total units of 175,000 units and multiplied it by our total cost per equivalent unit of $2.30. Next, we need to calculate the cost assigned to ending work in process inventory. The equivalent units in ending work in process inventory were 10,000 for direct materials and 3,000 for conversion costs. These were from our equivalent units calculations above. We'll multiply each of these by the cost per equivalent unit that we've just calculated. This means the direct material cost associated with our ending work in process inventory is $3,000. That's the 10,000 units times 30 cents per unit. And the conversion cost associated with our ending work in process inventory is $6,000. This is the 3,000 equivalent units multiplied by $2 per equivalent unit. Notice we use our equivalent units in ending work in process inventory, not the total units. This means the total cost assigned to ending work in process inventory will be $9,000. That's our direct material cost of $3,000 plus our $6,000 in conversion costs. We've now accounted for a total of $411,500 in costs. This is our cost of the units transferred out plus the cost of our units left in ending work in process. We need to make sure that this equals the total cost that we needed to account for from above. Let's go ahead and total our total work in process cost at the beginning of the month. That was the $1,500 for materials and $4,000 for conversion, a total of $5,500. The cost that we added during the month totaled $406,000, which means the total cost that we needed to account for was $411,500, which does indeed equal the cost that were assigned to ending work in process and the units transferred out.